Hey guys, this is Spencer9012 and I am doing a video on how to clean your HP Pavilion dv6-3050sa. I'm doing this because I've seen a few videos of similar laptops but none of the specific laptops. You can get them in red, sort of thing, looks like that. All the keyboard buttons in the wrong place where you don't want them. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to work backwards and hopefully you can understand what I'm doing. There's a light on that here. What I've done is I've removed the fan as it is. The reason why is because they caked on so much thermal paste, and it's crap thermal paste too, so I'm having to respread it, put it back on, clean the fan and put it back together again. So yeah, this is the backwards version. This is what you should be able to see when you've taken the motherboard out. That's the way it goes in, and I've just flipped it over because I can't be bothered to take out all the cables, like that cable over there. And the RAM, there's no point in taking out the RAM. Right, I'll spread some thermal paste on and I'll continue this video in a second. Okay, I'm back. I've just done the redone the thermal paste. What you want to do is get some decent thermal paste, and usually you want to use a piece of plastic, so either a credit card or some come with these handy little things, spreaders. What you want is a very thin, that one's kind of thick, I might redo that one again, very thin sheet of thermal paste, unlike what the last people had done, where they well, HP have made it with the thickest amount of compound I've ever seen in my life. So hopefully this will improve the overheating problem this laptop seems to have. And now I'm going to reassemble this whole thing, because the fan is now clean, as well as clean as it can be. The thermal paste is done. You only need to put the thermal paste on the heatsink. You do not put it on the chip. You can do, but when you merge the heatsink back onto the chip, they will settle into their own little positions. And obviously you can overdo it if you put it on both of them, so pick one or the other. I'd rather do the heatsink because it covers a bigger surface area. So to start with, you want to, well, this is going backwards, so if you're doing it the other way around, which you probably will be while you're watching this, this is what you'll be seeing once you've done it. There is no easy quick way of doing this. You have to do this way. So I'm going to put that back in its position. Bloody awkward with this thing. I'm going to make sure all the cables are back through. There we go. Make sure none are snagged. You're snagged. Oh, I completely forgot something. I forgot to actually put the fan back on. What a moron. Okay. Do this process. The fan is only held on by a couple of screws which are around the heatsink here. And also it's plugged in, obviously, for it to work. Let's put the heatsink back on. All you have to do is put it on like this. When you're putting the heat sinks back on, it's probably better to do with two hands, because you don't want to move this around as it's going on. You want the thermal compound to settle properly as it's on the processor. So I'm going to put the phone down for a second and I'll put this on properly. Okay, I've now screwed that back in using just a standard Phillips because I haven't got any computer screwdrivers on me. So what you want to do, you want to get this little thing and plug it. Focus, you silly camera. Well, there's a little plug just right underneath it. You can't miss it. It's attached to it. Just down there. So plug that back in. Okay, the plug is in. Now the fan is fully attached to the computer, and with the new thermal paste it'll hopefully be quieter, not overheat as much. So let's turn this back over. There's the hard drive card. There we go. Make sure all these are back in its rightful places. Oops, don't want to crush any cables or anything. Yeah, you want to do this when you've got quite a bit of time on you, because anybody new to this, such as myself, it'll take ages. And that just simply clicks back in there. It basically clips in using the ports all the way along. So this is what you'll see when you've taken off the cover. This is what you'll see. I believe that was the hard drive, that's the CD drive, obviously battery down there, fan, motherboard. Right, this thing was the next. Well, I had to figure this one out on my own. Basically, it's just the screen where it plugs in onto that there. It plugs in there. Yeah. So what you want to do is there's two screws. There's one hidden screw, this is what I couldn't figure out, because I thought this would revolve and then I could take the fan out, but obviously so I removed this screw, but this screw attaches to the screen, so you can take them out. There's one on this side as well, which I noticed, so you don't need to bother taking that screw out. This is just a normal hole, but there's a sneaky little screw behind there. I'll show you if I can. See a little screw hole, tiny little screw hole. So what we want to do is get the screws that went back into there. Ooh. Bit arduous, so I'll pause this again. Okay, right, it's all screwed in. This one was a pain in the neck. Right, what you want to do is start attaching the ribbons back again. The way these work is there's this little switch. Get your nail into the blooming thing. See, flicks up, flicks down, which allows that, so don't just yank them out. Put that ribbon back in there. That ribbon, it wants to go in, back in here. These things were made to be taken apart but never put back together again. That's a video you don't see, does it? No, it's not him. There we go. Good. There's a little black line on these tapes that symbolises where they should sit. So if you can see any of the black line, do it again because it's probably in the wrong place, and you'll screw it up. So there's the plug for the screen. Plug that back in. and this is what you're presented with completely when you take that cover off. Doesn't look much different other than everything's been plugged in. Right, the next thing was, yes, the cover. Now this, everyone gets a bit nervous with trying to take this off because it comes off in one huge thing. It feels like there's some screws still somewhere hidden in up here and down here, but they're not. It's all just plastic. So it's just plastic clips holding them in. So once that's done, you want to start pushing these together. It's bloody hard with one hand. Okay, that's together now. So it should be nice and fine all on the edge. When you want to try and push this in, you can actually push through the battery pack underneath the laptop. Push it under there just to make sure the clips are in fine. Now you've got to remember to put these tapes back in again. This over here. These are all various parts of the laptop, don't want to miss them. You'll know when it goes in, right, because it just sort of falls in. Now I'm hoping I'm not missing a ribbon here. It looks like it, but I can't imagine I am. We'll find out when I turn the laptop on. If it all goes Pete Tong and fries, then I'll sort it. But till then, I don't remember doing that right. The next bit is the keyboard. This is held in by a number of screws, which I'll show you in a bit. But this is literally, again, just try and wedge your finger underneath it, pull up, and then just try and snap it out. But there is a ribbon on the bottom again, which will go into this slot here. So you must remember to put that back in, otherwise when you turn it on, your keyboard's not going to work, quite obviously. So let me put this back in. Okay, that's back in. It's really bad up close. There's two little notches you'll notice if you look closely. If you've got a good eyesight, you'll notice two little notches in here. You'll know when this one's in place because those notches will line up. Okay, bit eager. And then to put the laptop back in, it is as simple as slotting it all back in. So that is how, this is what you'll come to once you've taken everything out of the back. And as again, you've got to try and get this up first. It's kind of annoying, but just use something small, thin. If you can get your fingers in there, even better. Oh, great, there's a bit of my keyboard sticking out. Oh well, it's only got to last me another year. So yeah, this is the laptop full together. Right, we can close this over and turn this upside down to reveal all the little bits and pieces. I can imagine once I put this together again, there'll be one screw laying around. I'm going to have to take the whole thing apart just to find out where that screw went. What you've got to remember is this thing in the RAM, when you want to take out the main motherboard, this, if you haven't taken it out, will confuse the hell out of you. Because you'll try to pull it up, you'll think everything's off, and then you'll just start snagging. You'll be looking and thinking, what's going on here? So try and take this out when you're messing with the back. Obviously just plug that back in. There you go. Nice click. That's the That's the wireless adapter if I'm correct. RAM, hard drive, face of the hard drive, and there's your CD port. If you notice when looking at this, you'll have a number of screws for the keyboard. You have one here. Try and look for the camera to do this. One here, and then one, two, three. So 5 screws altogether to take out the keyboard. So make sure you've taken this, and those 3 at the back before you even attempt to pull the keyboard up, because you'll probably snap something. That's all in. I'll put the hard drive in. The hard drive is pretty simple to put in. It's just little rubber feet. Slide the feet in. When I say slide, it decides it doesn't want to play ball. There we go. See, it'll fit in like that. This is what attaches to it. So put that in. I'll just stand there for a second. There we go. Okay. That's in. So you want to get those feet back into place over here. Rubber feet, and then push that in. There you go. This is what you'll look at once you've taken the cover off. This cover here. Don't forget the CD drive. Not that I ever use it on this laptop anyway. This is held in by I think one screw. I just need to whittle it back in there. Alright, yeah, that's why. There's plugs here. This is a two-handed job, and I've got a mobile in one hand. I'm trying to put a computer back together with the other. So bear with me. Apologies for the poor quality every time I'm trying to concentrate. Right, it's in now. All I did was push down on this, then push the CD drive in from here. So it just slotted it back in. Now this one is a little screw, if I remember correctly. Tiny little thing. Yeah, there you go. Make sure it's nice and tight. They were the hard drive screws, they were the back screws. Where were they from? Oh, I don't remember them. Right, next. So once the CD drive's in, you've taken the back cover off and the battery cover. This is what you'll see. If you remember, you take the hard drive out, take that out using the little screw here, and unplug this. Make sure you unplug that, because it'll just annoy you later on. So now, I'm going to screw the keyboard back in using its screws. For some reason they use a little screw on this side, on this far side, and then normal size screws on the others. So bear with me. See, it's good having magnetized screwdrivers when you're taking it off. When you're trying to put it back together, they become a pain. There we go. And there it goes. So from that, oh crap! Oh, there we go. Phew. See, that's the problem with these little things. done it again. There we go. Bloody hell. Again, apologies for the poor quality while trying to film. Okay. Then the last screw for here. There we go, making use of the magnetized screwdriver. Right, so that's the 3 screws in the back. Now there's obviously just 1 and 2 screws left. Trying to remember which one goes where. There's one. See if this one actually works. It seems to be quite... No, it's not even catching, is it? Woosa. Right, okay, well I'm one screwed down on my keyboard, but I can imagine it probably won't make that much of a difference being in the middle. Unless of course my laptop doesn't work when I start it up, and then this video will never be posted. So yeah, so screw there, 3 in the back. Now what you want to do is put these screws back in. This will tie this to the motherboard. And there's 3 of them again. 1, 2, 3. And they were in that order. So you probably want to make a better mock-up of the screws, because when you come back to put it together you think, oh, I'll remember all these positions. So you sort of put them in little nice neat little piles and they're assorted bits, and it never works. That one goes there. As I said, when you're again mounting the heat sinks back onto the processor, you want to do it as flat as possible. You don't want to be wheeling it around. And I know where that screw's from. Damn, it's not an important screw. You want to be putting it flat, because the more you wiggle on it, the less, well, the more you mix up the compound, and it doesn't fill in the microscopic mountains, so to say, that are on both surfaces. Right, okay, that is all back together again. So the next part of this process will be to stick this back on there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, right, okay. Now again, this is the panel. Comes off as one. See, a lot of the laptops I've been looking at, they seem to have this part separate. So you'll get to the RAM and maybe the drive, the CD drive, but you won't get to the hard drive separately. This is why every single video I've been looking for to dismantle this particular laptop have all different types, especially with the palm rest. That's a completely different thing that I've been seeing. I had to sort of experiment and just hope to God it didn't snap when I was taking it off. So again, this will all go on. Probably easy to slide it in. Slide it in that way too. Good. There we go. Pulls it in. So don't worry about it when you're putting it back together again. If there's little lips and stuff, the screws will pull them back in when they catch. Any remaining ones you can just push in, because it's just pieces of plastic holding it in. So we're actually nearly done. So this is what you would see after you've taken the battery out. Probably those three, you might as well while you're doing it, and this. So if you want to go switch back and forward on the video just to make sure, so you know what you're looking at, be my guest. And now lastly, you want to put all these bad boys in. So there's quite a few. You got one there, 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 one there. Now these two are a different size to the rest of them, that one and that one, so make sure you keep these ones separate. God damn it, that screw's going to annoy the hell out of me now. It was off a plastic holding. As I said, make sure you put a diagram of where all your screws are meant to go, because you end up with one screw. So yeah, that will go in there, and that goes back in there. So let me come back to this after I've screwed all the screws in. Okay, now that is all the screws back in bar that one over there. As I said, for this, really, you don't need special tools. Probably a magnetized screwdriver, Phillips head, thermal paste or compound, whatever you want to call it. And that's really it. And probably organise yourself better than I did with the screws. So in goes the battery. Sorry about that, my phone decided it wanted to change where it's going to save the video to. Right, okay. That bloody battery, please go in for the love of God. There we go. This battery's not very good anyway. It lasts a couple of hours. Awful laptop. If you've got it like me, then you're stuck with it for a bit. But if you're looking at this, then don't get it. Right. So that is the whole laptop completed. Now the moment of truth. Power's a good sign. Oh, good. It's quieter. It is a lot quieter than what it was. It's actually worked. I'm quite happy. And that is the reverse order of how to clean your fan, so to speak. And everything seems perfect, but obviously it's still a Windows computer, so it's not always going to be perfect. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. I hope you find it useful. Obviously it'd be a bit of a pain in the neck to go back and forth, because I was going the other way. But hopefully it gives you a good insight, and well, there you go. Good insight of how to clean this laptop. Remember, no easy way to do this. You have to do it the long way. So you might as well get the tools before you start messing about. So especially thermal compound, because if you're cleaning it now for the fan, you might as well do the thermal compound as well at the same time. There's no point in doing it again in a week's time unless you really like taking this laptop apart. So okay, thank you YouTube.